Well, it's been a bit since I've reviewed something. Well, I guess let's just take a look at an old movie. Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Not the original, but the 2003 remake. Now, of course, now I'm saying the question is, why does a remake exist? Surely Hollywood has enough money. Well, reviewer, let me tell you a few things. Drugs cost money, especially ones in Hollywood. Not to mention, we cannot let any movie just simply go on and live a wonderful life without trying to make a new one. That's why we keep getting so many Star Wars movies. And of course, jokes aside, well, I guess they felt like they had to remake it. And horror was seeing a bit of a interesting era post-Scream. Because, well, the last Texas Chainsaw movie that came out was 1994. And 2 years later, Scream came out. And it revitalized the horror genre. Every stuck-up asshole that goes to college will instantly tell you how much wonders that Scream did for the horror genre, and how important Scream truly was. And that's all wrong, because Halloween Curse of Michael Myers was the superior film. And of course, yeah, we're not reviewing that. We got to review Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Now, I guess, well, what happened with the series? Was it just so good that they just wanted to make more of them? I mean, if you've never seen movies before, then yeah, these films were so good. But, of course, we're going all the way back to 1974, when the first one came out. And based off true events. So what they say. Yeah, parts of the film were actually based off stuff that actually did happen, but most of the film itself is, well, imagination. But of course, saying that the film is based off a true story is a surefire way to get people to believe that. Nowadays, with the internet, it's kind of difficult, because, well, someone on Twitter can instantly fact-check you and ratio you. Congratulations. They're now the king of the internet for like 5 minutes. But Texas Chainsaw Massacre was an interesting movie. It was a very macabre film and really played on the emotions of the viewer. And it was a successful film. Also funded by the Mafia. And one guy got paid with something that I kind of... One guy got paid with a joint. I suddenly just remembered how the English alphabet, how the English language works. And of course, this movie was a success, so let's not make another one for like 12 years. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 came out in 1986, and, well, if I'm being honest, I don't really like it that much. I'll probably get into why eventually, maybe in like a year or two. But we got a third one in 1990 that was a bit more back to basics, but it was made by New Line Cinema. It was also neutered worse than your local pet store animals. It could have been a Peter joke. But of course, it was euthanized a lot worse than what Peter does. And then in 1994, we got the final one. This one had Matthew McConaughey and Renee Zellweger. You don't really hear about Renee anymore. But Matthew McConaughey, I think he's fighting Transformers or something. I don't know. I get so much stuff wrong sometimes. I mean, last time I knew he landed on the moon and fought aliens in Duke Nukem 3D. And of course, that brings us to 2003. with Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And they did not film it in 2003. This was like 2002, I think. And the film is set in the 70s. Because honestly, who wants to watch a cannibal hillbilly family murder people in the 2000s? I mean, if I wanted to watch that, I would literally go look up any news from Texas or Florida. Chances are it's already happened 5 times this hour. So, what is the Texas Chainsaw Massacre about? And why is it such a good film? Well, let me break it down for you. You see chainsaw action. That's like literally the best part of the film. Okay, jokes aside, there's a lot that the film does really good. Now, of course, obviously, we have the main cast of characters. Kemper, Morgan, Pepper, Andy, and Jessica Biel's character, Erin. I don't know anything else she's ever been in, so it could be possible that this film just killed her career. They're coming back from they're coming back from Mexico because they got a bunch of pot and are going to a Lynyrd Skynyrd concert. I would make a joke about never listening to Lynyrd Skynyrd, but they actually did pass away in a plane crash, and it's really sad that this happened to them. It could be worse. They could be listening to Led Zeppelin. At least Lynyrd Skynyrd actually wrote their own songs. On the way back, they come across a hitchhiker just randomly walking across the road. Now, if there's a few things you want to know about Texas, it's that the Waffle Houses kind of suck down there. The fast food sucks down there. There's one Sonic messed up my orders, and it was like 8 years ago when this happened. And people from Texas might not always be friendly. To anyone who does live in Texas, I am so sorry about all the Texas jokes. Although, it's better than going to Florida. And for the people that do know down in Florida, I am sorry that you have to live in Florida. So, they find a hitchhiker just traveling. And an infant wisdom, they just don't drive past and just let the sun slowly kill her. Now, they pick her up and, well, she's interesting. She's talking about an evil man. What evil man? Surely not the guy who owns Twitter now and who gets mad when people make fun of him. Nope, she's talking about something else. And when she finds him going to send direction, she ends up shooting herself in the face. That kills her and begins the first kill of the movie, which is a really depressing moment to start with. Because you just have to watch someone generally just kill themselves, and yeah, this kind of sets the tone for the rest of the film. So, because they don't want to dump a body, like what a few of the other characters we suggested, which these characters would make really good NPCs in Grand Theft Auto, they have to call the cops. But there's only really one sheriff in Texas, or at least in the area. Sheriff Hoyt, played by, he was played Arlie Ermy. I'm forgetting so many actors. I don't even think they had to tell Arlie Ermy to act. I think they just told him, just act naturally and get angry all the time. So he's the sheriff, and so he eventually arrives to check out the scene while Erin and Kemper go to some random house and be an old man so they can call the sheriff's department. Kemper is not allowed inside, but he goes inside anyways and winds up as a nice decoration in Leatherface's bedroom. Yeah, Leatherface appears. He's played by a different guy this time. I don't think there's been any Leatherface actor who's been played twice by the same person. But this one sets a tone for the movie. Because when we get a really good look at Leatherface, and he's creepy, he's scary, he's really shit your pants scary. And Kemper's dead. He got killed by a sledgehammer. I hope he doesn't have a sore back in the morning. Erin, like the best girlfriend she is, just completely abandons Kemper in the murder house, and then is surprised that he's gone. She eventually, convinces Andy that, hey, there's a guy who's probably gonna kill us. Let's go have fun. So they do that. The body eventually got taken, way earlier than that. And there's some neat foreshadowing with the sheriff's gun holster. It fits perfectly with that gun. And of course, these are stupid teenagers, so they just don't recognize that. They also have pot, by the way. And they're going to a Leonard Skinner concert. I thought I should mention this. But of course, Erin and Andy go back to Monty's house, and this time Andy sneaks in. Because Erin, I guess, she had her fill of the chicken room and the weird pantyhose stockings. And of course, meanwhile, in the house, Andy knocks down this weird container thing, which alerts Monty. Erin bursts into the house, and Monty follows him. It's at that point where, Monty is confronting them about breaking into his house, and tells them to make a move. This is when Leatherface appears, and he chases both Erin and Andy. Erin gets away because she has a higher speed stat than Andy, but the opposing Leatherface slices off Andy's leg and uses his sharp defense and attack to drag him back into the house. Oh wait, I'm just playing Pokemon now. Sorry, I kinda got bored. Well, he hangs Andy up on a meat hook, and we get a special look at how Arby's prepares the sandwiches. This is the third Arby's joke I've made this week, and I really hope they don't sue me for making fun of the restaurant. Maybe we could switch to Wendy's or Taco Bell. It is a parasite that gives people diarrhea going around, and I was tempted to make a joke that that's what Taco Bell is doing, but I've decided to go for the Arby's joke instead. Somehow, someway, I'm gonna ruin Arby's for one of my friends, and I'm gonna feel bad about it when it happens. Erin comes back to the van. She just kinda completely forgot about Kemper. That guy probably killed her boyfriend, and is probably eating him right now. So she goes back to the van, and they try escaping. But the keys don't work. The van won't start. This is why you don't get Fiats. You hear what they say about them, fix it again, Tony. Maybe it was Ford. Or maybe a Pontiac. Or a Subaru. I don't know. And of course, Hoyt eventually appears, and that's when... And that is, of course, when he finds out that... That's, of course, when he finds out that they were smoking pot. Sheriff Hoyt, being against drugs and being a vegan voter, now he kind of holds him at gunpoint and has Morgan tell him exactly what happened. Morgan completely goes on a spiel about how they were going to a nearby Star Trek convention when they got stopped by Jehovah's Witnesses. There's supposed to be a joke. Hoyt doesn't believe that, and he tells him that he's going to have to show him, how people can walk on water. Morgan, not wanting to do that, ends up pointing a gun at Hoyt, and it ends up getting him arrested for attempted murder of an officer. He also blames Hoyt for killing the hitchhiker, even though it's pretty much clear that the hitchhiker, in fact, died, well, the family would have driven her to kill herself. And of course, he takes Morgan back to the house. He also takes the keys and lets Leatherface know that he has 2 new playmates. Leatherface, excited for this, goes all the way there and attacks the van. Pepper, in her infinite smartness, runs out of the van and gets chainsawed to death. Leatherface turns, and then you see him wearing Kemper's face. Yeah, Erin finds out that her boyfriend died, like that, which is kind of a sad way to die. But of course, no, that was I said Morgan. Whoops. But yeah, we all know that Kemper was evading child support and taxes, and it's just this stuff happens sometimes. Pepper ends up dying. Oh yeah, Pepper ended up dying. Erin runs away. It's there that she meets 2 women, the tea lady and Henrietta, who really just don't seem to be scared about the fact that there's a, big old psycho running around with a chainsaw at Texas at night. Although, well, I mean, come to think about it, this might just be a normal occurrence in Texas. It is in Florida. And of course, Erin is drugged. She drank tea from random strangers. The first thing that we're taught as kids is don't accept tea from strangers. Might be laced with something. Maybe it was Transformers. I honestly don't know. Erin, of course, wakes up in a new place. And she gets to meet the rest of the, Hewitt family. We meet Luda May, again, who got introduced early in the film, but didn't really play as much of importance as she is now. And of course, we find out that Jedediah, this little kid that they meet earlier, is also related to the Sawyers. He also wants to help Erin. We also find out that Monty is related to them too, same with Hoyt. And they drag Erin to the basement, and that's where she meets. She meets Andy and Morgan. She has to kill Andy, and she kills him in the worst way possible by stabbing him in the gut. It's stab him in the chest, or just do anything. God, are you trying to kill him, or are you trying to make his Saturday worse? Because I'm missing a leg. But she meets Morgan, who is surprisingly still alive and not on a meat hook. Jedediah helps him escape, and Leatherface is in hot pursuit. They eventually have to hide in this one barn or old house or something, and Leatherface attacks Erin. Morgan, he ends up trying to play White Knight and ends up attacking Leatherface, only to get murdered. But Erin does survive. She'll let him take a peek at her future Twitch streams. Oh wait, Morgan died. And Leatherface just left him there. I guess he was too stringy for them. I don't know. Erin eventually hides in a meat factory with a cleaver, and she chops off Leatherface's arm, ruining any parts for a sequel that could have happened. She escapes from the slaughterhouse, finds a car, and they drive back in the same direction, but she freaks out. The driver goes to talk to the family. Erin just completely vanishes and kidnaps the baby that Henrietta had. Yeah, Henrietta kidnapped someone's baby. That's kind of what the Hewitts are, they kind of doing that. They're kind of weird people. I mean, they also eat people, it shouldn't really be too surprising. But she ends up hot wiring Hoyt's car when he's going to check the semi. She runs him over and kills him. Now she's fleeing. Leatherface tries attacking the car with his chainsaw. How that thing did not just randomly go out, it's gonna be me. But that's the movie. Oh wait, there's also a post-credit scene which shows two officers investigating the Hewitt house, only to be attacked by Leatherface. And the film ends off saying that the case remains unsolved. I wonder if they ever caught that guy. Unless he became Mitt Romney. That kind of explains a lot. But of course, obviously, I guess, well, what are my thoughts on Texas Chainsaw Massacre? Is it a good movie? Should other people watch it? What kind of impact did it have? Well, I think it's a good movie. The horror is done really well. The story is done well. The characters, for the most part, are likable. The antagonists, are scary. Hoyt and Leatherface definitely take the cake. As with the tea lady, you don't really get to see much of her. Monty and Luna May, they're interesting characters, and I do like Jedediah too. And again, you also do feel bad for the characters too. And it's really sad when you see them die. Especially Morgan, who, well, he literally sacrifices himself to save Aaron. And same with Jedediah. It's not shown in the movie, but Jedediah actually dies in a novelization of the movie. Leatherface kills him. Obviously, they didn't show it in the movie because this is a child, and that would probably get the film into a adults only rating for that alone, or heavily criticized. This film also kind of did usher in a new era of remakes. Plenty of movies would see remakes, like Halloween, A Nightmare on Elm Street, Friday the 13th, House of Wax, Black Christmas, trying to think of what else. I know there were other movies that did get remade, but to be honest, I can't really think of them at the moment. But it would have started a bit of a new era when it came to horror films. Now, obviously, it would be competing against other horror films, as Saw and Hostel would come out after this movie and begin a new genre of horror called torture porn. Eventually, the film would receive a prequel that details the origins of Leatherface along with the Hewitt family, and this would be the end of the Platinum Dunes run. After the prequel, the series would actually get a reboot, returning to the original timeline with new characters and a whole new timeline. I've talked about Texas Chainsaw 3D before, and I think I talked about the original. So I'll probably talk about the other ones as time goes on too. But of course, I liked doing this video. I was watching stuff about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and it popped in my head that I should probably talk about Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and I'm glad I did because I got some funny jokes I got to talk about. But either way, thank you all for watching. Stay creepy, everyone, and have a wonderful summer.